up, guys? Brendan, aka Drip Drippity Drip, back in today with another video. In today's video, yes, I finally have an updated Blue Eyes deck profile. A couple of things I want to say real quick is, one, I'm going to be talking a lot in this video, probably before I even get into the deck profile. So go ahead and fast forward. You're going to have to fast forward a lot to probably get to the video, the deck profile, if you don't feel like hearing me talk. But I'm talking for a good reason. So it would be probably wise to stick around so you can hear me say what I have to say on my reasoning of my choice for this deck. All right, now that's aside. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. A lot of you guys are not subscribed and slacking and not becoming part of the DDD fam. I don't know why y'all slacking. But anyways, hit that bell notification so you never miss an upload. Discord in the description, PayPal in the description as well if you'd like to help support the channel. But anyways, let's get into this video. This video, I know a lot of you guys have been asking for an updated list on Blue Eyes and Invoked Blue Eyes and stuff like that. If you've been around on the channel, you know Blue Eyes, Galaxy Eyes, Thunder Dragon, Luna Lights, Orchist, all those are my babies. Top two, though, are Blue Eyes and Galaxy Eyes, which Thunder Dragon's there too, but Colossus is banned. I don't want to talk about it. But anyways, this list I've literally been working on for a whole year, guys. Literally a whole year. And when you see it, for the most part, a lot of y'all are going to probably think, well, that's pretty standard for the most part for what you're trying to accomplish. Why'd it take you so long? It took me so long because it doesn't gel together as well as you may think when you see it on paper. Because Blue Eyes doesn't get the name Brick Eyes for no reason. It literally does that. So without Konami actually giving us support, I myself had to try to find a way to make them less bricks in hand. Another thing I'm going to say, if you are looking for guard dragons in this, rocket package, all that shit, you're in the wrong place. You're not going to find that here. This is a competitive deck without relying on the Dragon Link package. My personal opinion, yeah, it's nice because you're playing Dragon Link with that deck and you get to splash in some Blue Eyes, but you don't really get to utilize Blue Eyes itself really that much. So in this build, what I was wanting to do when I made it, I was like, okay, I don't want to run a different deck and splash in Blue Eyes. I want to run Blue Eyes and splash in a different deck. So instead of forcing Blue Eyes to Link summon, forcing them to XZ summon, you embrace what the deck does naturally and it makes it flow all the much better. So what I mean by that is Blue Eyes likes to synchro summon. It likes to fusion summon. And no, I'm not talking about running bricks like King of Swamp and all that shit. That's strictly only for fusion. So what I did, instead of forcing them to Link and XZ, I embraced what they really normally do, and that's synchro and fusion. And ever since I did that, along with splashing in a smaller other engine package and stuff, the deck has worked phenomenal. It's ridiculous what this deck can do. My personal opinion, yes, it's not as top heavy as the Dragon Link, but it can play through as many interruptions and has a hell of a lot more follow-up than the Dragon Link version. Also, another thing too, this build is by no means budget. It's not budget. There's no budget way around it, and there's no, like, what I mean by that is there's no budget option. There's none. You either have the money to make this deck or you don't, and you're going to be stuck with the 3 Whitestone of Ancients, 3 Legend, all that crap, or playing this Dragon Link variant. But it's worth it in my personal opinion. If you don't believe me, go online, try it out yourself. Like I said, there's nothing I would change in this. There's nothing I would change at all. No, it's not. There's nothing, because I've been working on this list for a year, and if you know me, I'm not like one of those other Yugi tubers that just throws lists out there. I play with them first to ensure that they're actually worth it before I upload them on my channel. But anyways, now that all that's aside, let's go ahead and get into the list. I know that was a lot of talking, and I'm probably going to do a lot more talking, but hey, you can't say I didn't warn you, okay? So, if you couldn't tell already, this is Invoked Blue Eyes. So, yes, the Invoked engine is in here. To be fair, Invoked Blue Eyes had Invoked before Dolls did, so I don't care what anybody says. Anyways, let's get into this. Started out obviously 3 bricks, but in this build they're not really bricky. Which you'll see why later in the video. You're easily getting these in hand or putting them in grave by turn 1, turn 2, and then you bring out the almighty freaking pretty much by turn 2. Only 2. 1, you only run 1 if you run the Dragon Link variant. You never need 3 of this card, not anymore. It's 2021, 3, you're just bricking. And I don't want to hear the excuse, oh, I want to see it. Well, you have plenty of ways to see in this card nowadays. You have, pretty significant like size toolbox to be able to see this card. So you don't need 3. Never came up. And the last of the big dragons is Abyss Dragon. I'm so mad at myself for when this card first got announced. I said this card was ass. I am completely wrong. I was completely wrong. In this build, when you embrace what Blue Eyes actually does and you don't try to force it to play Dragon Link, because at that point you're not even playing Blue Eyes. Wow, it's still Blue Eyes. I end on Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon and I end on Draglubian. No, it's not. I'm sorry. Does Draglubian have Blue Eyes in the name? No. Is there a Blue Eyes XZ? No. That legendary one that was like a World's Prize card or whatever? No, it doesn't count. I don't care what anybody says. No. This card is ridiculous. Like, if you get a Blue Eyes Engraved, which is not that hard in this build, this card makes you plus so freaking hard that it's insane. This card has won me games because of its third effect, because it pretty much has 3 effects. Its third effect for the attack boost has won me a game because it can buff up anything as Blue Eyes. And the fact that Konami made it Blue Eyes is ridiculous. That makes it so much better, because normally when the cards look like that, it ends up being like a Deep Eyes card or whatever. But yeah, this card is nuts. Definitely in this build, it's so ridiculous. Oh, so good. But anyways, that's it for the big dragons. Like I said, there's nothing I would change with this list at all. I've been playtesting for a while. I pretty much got down to where I wanted it the past like month or so with this list, and I stuck to it, and I took it to locals and finished 3rd/4th place. It was kind of like a tiebreaker type ordeal. But yeah, it's pretty good. Now for the tuners, 3 Sage. Now, my tuner lineup is going to offend a lot of you guys, but like I said, just try it out. With this build, there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing I would change. So, 3 Sage, 3 Ancients, 1 Legend, because you're not playing the Dragon Link variant. Yes, if you're playing the Dragon Link variant, then it would be the roles will be reversed. 3 of these and 2/1 of these. So, and then on to the rest of the tuners, Maiden, and then Master. Master is actually really busted. Definitely in this build on a turn 2, he is nasty. He's like underrated. Like, I know a lot of people don't like him because he's not your ideal normal summon, but on the turn 2 or turn 3, if you're not normal summoning Alistair, this card is like a 1-card Halqifibrax pretty much. It's really busted. And it recycles your Blue Eyes cards and allows you to have a follow-up engraved with it. Yeah, it's really gross. But that's it for the Blue Eyes engine pretty much, like monster-wise. On to the standard Alistair, the normal summon Alistair. Alistair is Alistair. A lot of times, even if you don't go into a Makaba, you can go into your Blue Eyes fusions with the invocation. So it's really nasty. So it's really gross what you can do. But yeah, it's really gross what you can do with Alistair. You can, like, outside, obviously Alistair is Alistair. Yes, you can make Makaba. Yes, you can make invoked monsters. But no, he helps you make your Blue Eyes monsters. Like I said, so Blue Eyes in your hand, is not that much of a brick anymore because you can just make your fusion summons. So yeah, I mean, like your fusions, your Blue Eyes fusions. So yeah, Alistair is Alistair. The engine is like it makes this deck so much better. Like I don't know, I can't explain it because it gives you such utility and such follow ups, and I don't know, it's just so good. Now onto the third engine is we got the Dogmatika package. If you haven't already tell, the deck pretty much plays like invokes Dogmatika, but it plays with Blue Eyes cards. Like the Dogmatika package is pretty much just extra utility. So, and I know like like I said in the beginning, a lot of people are gonna be like, well, that just seems pretty standard. You take out the hand traps and you just put in Blue Eyes cards. No, it's really not that easy. It's really not that easy to say that. But the utility with these is, I want y'all to take in account so when we get farther in this video, you'll understand. The Dogmatika cards, all of them are spellcasters. Your tuners, for the most part, besides your eggs, are spellcasters. So remember that when we get later in the video. But yeah, this stuff right here just allows you to push for game, and you make a window with this pretty much, and you mill your opponent's extra deck. Honestly, moving forward, myself personally, I'm probably going to try to take this out because my locals is a small locals, and I don't want them putting stuff in their extra deck to try to plus harder off of the card I have. But do I think you should take this out? Definitely not. No, do not take it out at all. It's pretty much a kind of like a win con, like obviously, like because the reason why you need it is because you can't use the excuse that, oh, you can still make Winda off of Nadir Servant. It's harder in this deck to do that. Why? I'll tell you why. Because your entire deck, there's not a single card in your main deck that's not a light. So yeah, that's why. And this card helps you get your darks in the graveyard. So yeah, like I said, the Dogmatika engine allows you to push for game. It supplies you with more utility. You don't rely on it because you're mainly doing Blue Eyes stuff. But yeah, onto the hand traps. We literally only run 3. Effect Veiler, level 1, spellcaster, and it's a tuner. What did I say at the beginning of this video? You want to embrace synchro summoning and fusion summoning. So he's a spellcaster, remember that, and he's a tuner, and he's a level 1, so we can easily use him and our Blue Eyes or whatever to make our level 9 synchros, and Halka Fibrax and all that stuff too. So yes, only we want to play more extenders than hand traps in this build, because hand traps are good in decks that have high consistency. But with Blue Eyes, who kind of bricks anyways, you want to minimize on your bricks. So in this case, you want to run less hand traps and more extenders. Now onto the spells. Pretty much kind of a 1-card combo. 3 Nadir Servant. This card is bonkers. We do run Punishment as well, which we'll get to that in a minute, but I want to go ahead and say this now. With this card and Punishment, the extra deck lock does not really matter because we're just going to do vanilla Dragon Beatdown pretty much. Because what we're going to do is before, like normal decks that splash Dogmatika in there, we're just doing our other shenanigans first, then we do this last. Or if after they like negate all of our stuff, we could still use this to make whatever we want. So the extra deck lock actually does not hurt that bad because, like, if you, like, for an example, if you play Blue Eyes, you know you're probably only going to go in your extra deck once or twice anyways. Like, you're going to go and you're going to make a Spirit Dragon, you're going to make another Synchro or another Fusion, and you're going to make a Blue Eyes Ultimate, whatever the case may be. So the following, like, turn, it doesn't really matter because your board's pretty much already established at that point. So 3 Nadir Servant. This one's going to probably offend a lot of people. 2 Melody. The reason why I'm only running 2 Melody is because I have other ways that I'm going to get my dragons in my hand. And Melody is just in if I don't have that means to be able to get them to my hand. So, and we're not running no Levianeer or shit like that. You don't need to run Brit cards in this deck. Keep it simple, keep it sweet. Blue Eyes and Invoked and Dogmatica, which Dogmatica is just, like I said, a splashable engine. Next, we got 2 Invocation. You only need 2. Don't need 3. The recycle effect on this card is just ridiculous. I can't say enough. Everybody knows what it does. Let me do this. Put them up here. Now we got double trade-in. Don't need 3. I do run 1 talents in this deck. If you can't afford talents, then sure, run a 3rd trade-in. But like I said at the beginning of this video, this is not a budget deck. There's no real budget alternatives to this deck. So I'm sorry to say that, but there's really not, because if you don't run the Dogmatic engine and you don't run the Invoked engine, either one, then you're not really running this deck as it is. You're pretty much just running an old school Blue Eyes Synchro deck, which is not as competitive as this deck is, or how competitive it can be, rather. Now for the old school Spice, and yes, a lot of people are not going to like this card, but this card actually is ridiculous. This card is clutch, and that is Mausoleum of White. This card, guys, oh my god, this card is ridiculous. It's a double summon. It's low-key a 1-card Halki 5-Rax, pretty much, if you go into Halki 5-Rax. This deck doesn't turbo Halki 5-Rax like other Blue Eyes decks do. We can make him if we want to. But I'm just saying, though, this card is a double summon. It's ridiculous. This card alone, one time, helped me get over Dragoon, because the guy didn't negate none of my stuff, and I had a Blue Eyes on field. And I just used this to target one of my monsters to send a Blue Eyes to grave to buff my other monster up to attack over Dragoon. This card is crazy. It's a double summon. It's a Foolish, which helps you search too. So this card is your other way besides your Melody to get your dragons into your hand, because if you have an Ancients in hand, you can just use this Foolish one, Foolish of Blue Eyes, and then banish the egg to add the Blue Eyes back. So it's an indirect searcher as well, on top of a Foolish, on top of a double summon, on top of that goes with the Foolish that buffs your monsters. And now for the card that I was talking about earlier, that if you're wondering, when I went through my 3-ofs a second ago, why I'm not running 3 Return of the Dragon Lords, because it's the stipulations on that card is too specific. You need more generic cards. So all my entire deck is dragons and what? Spellcasters. So let me show you an old card that is with this deck that is literally a 1-card level 9 synchro. And what's that? That is Dragon Revival Rhapsody. This card is a god card in this deck, because if you control any kind of your spellcasters, whether it's Alistair, Sage, Maiden, Master, Ecclesia, a Fleur, Maximus, list goes on. All of our cards are spellcasters for the most part. You have an Egg Engraved, you just activate this, special summon the Blue Eyes, and it allows you to special summon another monster as long as you special summon a normal. Then you special summon another one of your tuners from graveyard. So, and then you just synchro right there. This card is nuts. So this card is 10 times better than a Monster Reborn, in my personal opinion. Which you can run Monster Reborn if you just want to bring something out of your opponent's graveyard. That's fine. But it's 10 times better than running multiple copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. So, yeah, this card is nuts. Now, moving on. The card that's the most slept on Blue Eyes card that I think that has ever came out, and it's really sad how much this card is slept on. The level of generic that this card is, that how it could be splashed in other decks that could actually utilize it, is insane too. And that is Successor Soul. This card is nuts. This card has won me games. This card is generic. Literally, Heretics could probably use this card. Literally. So, like, this card is ridiculous. It's a Kaiju that's a quick play. It's like Blue Eyes version of... Kind of like Blue Eyes version of Monarch Stormforth. Yes, they're a little bit different, but you get what I'm saying. This card is ridiculous. Like, this card, I was playing online one time, and my opponent went through all my negates and my interruptions, and still was able to try to bring out a Dragoon. Well, when he brought out Anaconda, I just activated Successor Soul. Yes, I had to get rid of my Invoke monster, but I stopped him from making Dragoon. And then I could just remake my Invoked monster the following turn because I have invoked my hand and they recycle themselves. So this card has outed a lot of really good boss cards. Even in like an invoked version of a mirror, I can like after I bathe negates, a lot of people don't have spells in their hands, so I can just use this to take their Macabre, which I have done several times against the doll matchup. Now moving on to the one-ofs. One-ofs, the power one-ofs. Yes, I am running one Return of the Dragon Lords. It does come in handy. Just you don't want to see it until late game. And if anything, it could always be a pitch for you. And then, because if you pitch it, you can still use its banish effect to protect, which I mainly use it for, to be honest. And now the other one is Talents. Talents is ridiculous. Talents is Talents. Not much needs to be said about this. This card, it helps you out a lot. Play through hand traps, play through interruptions, steal your opponent's cards. Everybody knows what Talents does. The one Poly, I'm sorry, it's common. I lost my like shattered foils or whatever. But yeah, Poly is Poly. It's searchable now through the other Blue Eyes card. What is it? The Abyss Dragon. Yeah, Blue Eyes Abyss. Searchable. Pretty like you can get it to your hand easily. One Terraforming. And then 4th Alistair, obviously. That's pretty much all we use this for, is a 4th Alistair and to bait and negate, honestly, because if we have Alistair in hand, we can plus harder by getting an extra Alistair in hand with this. Because when they see Meltdown, a lot of people, when they see it, they're not going to expect you to play Blue Eyes. They're going to be expecting you to play Invoke Dolls. So they don't want your Fusion Summons to be protected if they don't know what you're playing. So activating a Meltdown is nice, because it baits in the gate, and we don't really worry about our Fusion Summons being protected. Yes, we do Fusion Summon, but we're not really worried about being protected, because at that time if we're going to make a Blue Eyes Ultimate, whatever, the game's pretty much over as it is, or close to it, and it's going to, if it's not, it's definitely going to be after you summon it. And then for the last 2 cards of the deck is Punishment, and then obviously Schism. Because we do make Window, because it has win in the name. Punishment, like I said before, once you have your board semi-established, the lock doesn't hurt at all. You never even notice it, honestly. Because you're just going to do vanilla beatdown or Blue Eyes alternative beatdown. So that's it for the main deck. It's 45. Like I said, there's not a thing I would change. I love it the way it is. Let's get on to the extra deck. The extra deck for a lot of the Invoke part is going to be standard. We're running 1 Maiden, 1 Hawk, because Hawk is generic. Let me zoom in for you guys. Hawk is generic, and he just helps you bring out all your stuff. Then we got 1 Link Krivo, because we do run a bunch of level 1s pretty much. So all of our tuners are level 1. That's it for the that's pretty much it. That's it for the links. That's all you run. Let's get on to the fusions. The invoked part. We got 2 Macabres. 2 Macabres is necessary in this build. Aguades, whatever the hell his name is. He's actually really good. I love this card. That's it for the Invoked engine. I know a lot of people are gonna be mad. Sorry, we're not running We're not running Purg. We're not running Kaliga. Why? Because we don't run enough darks for Kaliga. And Purg, you don't need to rely on Purg to win a game. Yes, it can break boards, yes, but there's no extra deck space. I tried it with Purg, and Purg never came up because the reason why I say that is if you're going to push for game, you're going to be pushing for game with your Blue Eyes cards. And, which you'll see our win con when we get there. Moving on to the utility is one Entis, and then Titaniclad. These cards are pretty much your utility cards for your Dogmatica stuff, which you'll get to that, more to that in a second. Like the other utility cards, is obviously your Winda and your Abclone. These cards are your utility cards. These are your combo for the most part. Which then again, Titaniclad ends up being like part of your combo as well, because that's how you refill your hand for follow-ups. On to the Blue Eyes fusions. It's literally just Burst and Alternative Ultimate. This card has literally helped me out Dragoon a number of times. It's really stupid easy to make. If you for some reason draw an extra invocation, you can easily get 2 Blue Eyes to your hand. You just make it that way, or you can contact fuse with your alternative and a Blue Eyes on field or whatever. And then this card alone, this card is easy to bring out in this deck. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like this card is Dragoon, but kind of better. If they made this card have a negate, this card would be banned probably, because the fact he can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects is nuts. And he can pop 3 cards if you use alternative as fusion material, which 99% of the time you're going to do. I have yet to make this card without using alternative. Yes, you can make him with just 3 regular Blue Eyes, but you want to make him with alternative, but the alternative has to be on the field, obviously. So because like you want to be able to use alternative as fusion material, so you get his full effect, like his full effect where you can pop 3 instead of 1. One of my favorite things that Konami made about this card is they did not lock it into the restriction of where you can only pop monsters. You can pop cards, you can pop like back row, you can pop anything with this. So it's very versatile, and every time I brought it out, I won the game. Because your board applies so much pressure between having like Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, and Makaba with like your Dogmatica package, and then Schism set, because they know they have to deal with a negate in the grave with Spirit Dragon. They know they got to deal with an Omni negate, a pseudo Omni negate with Makaba, and they're going to end up having like to deal with a punishment and a Schism. So, and you're going to be able to tag out with Spirit Dragon before obviously you activate the punishment. And you're going to plus harder because your Blue Eyes that are in grave. And you're going to have a follow-up of making this, which is normally the combo. Turn 2 to break their board completely and win the game. If you obviously you can't make this if you activated punishment, but you know what I'm saying. And now on for the synchros. Obviously the Spirit Dragon. Obviously the Azuras. And the card that I didn't have when I went to locals, because, you know, ordering cards off TCG Player is really annoying, because TCG Player has no rules to where, like, you have to have a card out by a certain time. That's why I pay and buy my cards on eBay majority of the time, just make sure they're, like, a good seller. Because guess what? They have to have their cards out by a certain time, or they keep getting spammed by eBay, and eBay will message them, because I sell on eBay too. So, and that card is Shinshin. This card is nuts. A lot of times you're going to make this instead of this if you don't know what you're playing. Because this is literally, like, yes, it hurts you too, but at that time, by the time you make this, all your stuff's going to be engraved regardless. So it's not going to hurt you. And this card, you can special him back easily by banishing 2 cards with different types and attributes. And this card's like a Dark Law pretty much, so it hurts a lot of decks. So not only does it have its own recursion, plus you're dealing with they're dealing with the rest of your board, and this is a Dark Law effect. Yeah, this card is nuts. I didn't have this. There's a lot of situations where I really needed it and I didn't have it, and it was very frustrating. because I knew if I had it, it would have changed the game outcome at locals. So that's why I'm dropping this video before I drop the dual videos. So like after, like, if I were to drop the dual videos first and then y'all watch that and then watch this and y'all be like, well, why'd you not make Shin Shin or something right there? It's because I didn't have it. I didn't have it at the time. I was running a 14 card extra deck because I ordered this like freaking a week and a half ago, and it got here literally a day after locals. I was kind of heated. But that is it for the deck, guys. Yeah, it took me pretty much a year to build this deck. Literally, I'm not kidding when I say I lost sleep and everything else on this deck. I literally did, because when it's a deck that I truly love, which is like Blue Eyes, Galaxy Eyes, Luna Lights, Thunder Dragon, all that, I lose sleep when trying to do whatever I can to make it competitive, since Konami wants to hit our stuff. But yeah, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Give this deck a try. My personal opinion, it's the best variant of Blue Eyes, which Invoked is usually always the best variant in my personal opinion. I used to like the Dragon Link, but I really don't like it anymore. I'm tired of it. It doesn't feel like Blue Eyes. I wanted to make a deck that felt like Blue Eyes and it was rewarding when I played it, and this deck is very rewarding. But like I said, also, there's nothing I would change. That's pretty much it, guys. Again, please drop a like. I really enjoy seeing you guys enjoying the videos and stuff. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Join the Discord if you want to become part of the DDD fam. We're a really nice group of guys down there. We always laugh. We always post memes, talk about Yu-Gi-Oh!, whatever the case may be. We're a good family down there. So if you want to become part of the DDD fam closer, by all means, join the Discord. Say hello when you join, and I'll say hello back, and a lot of other people say hello back too, because we're all close. But again, you all have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this video. Stay safe out there in the age of COVID. Pretty much almost over at this point, but still I want you all to stay safe. And good dueling, guys. Drip out. Peace.